Toyota is known for taking a different path though. While many global automakers have fully committed to electric, Toyota has stayed somewhat conservative. Toyota calls this its multi-pathway strategy, focusing on hybrids, hydrogen fuel cells, and conventional engines alongside electric vehicles. Part of this approach is Toyota's belief that hydrogen could be a viable alternative to EVs. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're tackling a pressing topic in the auto world, and it's the potential for widespread job losses due to electric vehicles and Toyota's evolving stance. Toyota's chairman recently warned that a shift to EVs could actually lead to millions of job losses, especially in Japan where traditional auto manufacturing plays a huge economic role. We're going to break down what he said, why it matters, and how it fits into the global auto industry. But before we begin, subscribe if you're new to the channel and in the auto space. But if you have to go before the end of this particular video and podcast, please leave a thumbs up. The algorithm will really appreciate it. My last couple of videos have been how China's surge in electric vehicles is taking over all of legacy autos market share in the EV space, that is. And the EV mandate helped promoted this. There is someone who will always benefit and capitalize big time whenever a certain market is being boosted. So why would Japan be particularly vulnerable? The Japanese economy has deep ties into the auto industry with roughly 5.5 million people working directly in it and up to 55 million indirectly affected when including suppliers and adjacent industry. Toyota is the largest automaker in Japan and globally, meaning their influence stretches well beyond cars. They're a backbone of Japan's workforce and economy overall. One of Toyota's subsidiary companies is the fifth largest trading company in the world with 8 different domains to choose from. Their automotive division is one of them, but most jobs are connected to their automotive division, believe it or not. For decades, Japan's been known for its efficient, reliable cars with engineering that revolves around the internal combustion engines. So any large-scale switch to electric vehicles would require a big shift in skills and retraining for workers who are specialized in engine manufacturing, exhaust systems, and other components unique to gas-powered vehicles. Toyota is known for taking a different path though. While many global automakers have fully committed to electric, Toyota has stayed somewhat conservative. Toyota calls this its multi-pathway strategy, focusing on hybrids, hydrogen fuel cells, and conventional engines alongside electric vehicles. Part of this approach is Toyota's belief that hydrogen could be a viable alternative to EVs, especially for reducing carbon emissions in areas where battery production or recycling infrastructure isn't as developed. However, critics argue that this has put Toyota behind the curve as EVs continue gaining popularity and market share globally, as we're seeing with Chinese EVs. Recent data showed that global EVs rose by 31% this year alone, and the expectation is that EVs could make up between 60 to 80% of the market by 2030. Toyota's top leadership still maintains that EVs will cap out around 30% of the market, which may seem conservative when looking at global trends. Now, here's where things get interesting. China has rapidly risen as the leader in electric vehicle production, outpacing Japan in other nations. As a result, China is becoming the largest exporter of electric vehicles, and Chinese automakers like BYD and NIO are expanding internationally while Japan led the charge in efficient internal combustion engines. China is building its reputation around low-cost, high-volume EV production, which could reshape the industry, much like what Kia did when they first came into the industry. They were actually laughed at. Now, look at Kia and Hyundai right now. Low cost, low entry volume. And this shift is worrying for traditional automakers like Toyota, with China pushing affordable EVs in emerging markets such as South America, Australia, and sections of Africa. Japan's economic structure could face pressure if it doesn't adapt fast enough. Now, the fear fear here is that countries relying on internal combustion engine technology may find themselves scrambling to stay competitive as the demand for EV grows, and it is growing. When Toyota's chairman talks about potential job losses, he's referring to the shift in manufacturing needs that comes with EVs. Electric vehicles, as a rule, have fewer parts, and EV powertrain has fewer moving components compared to combustion engines, meaning there's less work needed in assembly and fewer jobs in the components like transmission, exhaust, and fuel systems. In a combustion-focused economy like Japan's, this means potential job losses at every stage, much like what Stellantis is actually preparing for, and look at them now. Japan has one of the highest national debt levels globally, making a major economic transition even more challenging if millions of jobs tied to internal combustion engines suddenly reduces. This could create rather immediate and complex ripple effect on Japan's economy, and Toyota sees this transition as a threat to economic stability and is cautioning both the government and industry partners to consider what an EV future might look like for their entire workforce. But are these fears well founded? Analysts point out that job transitions often happen with technological shifts. Many automakers, including some in Japan, are already looking to retrain workers for EV production and to focus on new areas like battery technology, software, and renewable energy integration. The growth of the EV market and related fields like battery recycling may present new job opportunities. However, retraining millions is complex and costly, and not every worker may find it feasible or appealing. Toyota's mixed stance on EVs, focusing on hybrids and hydrogen, might be seen as a way to delay the shift, giving time for gradual transition. But critics argue this approach leaves Toyota very vulnerable, especially if EV adoption continues at its current pace or it accelerates. One key point Toyota raised is the environmental impact of a full EV shift. They argue that a complete reliance on lithium-based batteries may not be sustainable due to limited lithium reserves. However, recent studies suggest that there's enough lithium for the foreseeable future, and the advancement in battery recycling and alternative battery technologies like sodium-ion are likely to reduce reliance on raw lithium over time. On the strategic side, some speculate that Toyota's concern could also be intended to protect its current market share and revenue streams. By maintaining hybrid and combustion engine options, Toyota may be aiming to capitalize on existing demand, especially in regions where EV infrastructure is still limited. China now exports significantly more cars than Japan. Toyota, like others, namely Mercedes, BMW, GM, Ford, everyone is afraid of Chinese automakers. Everyone is more afraid of EV. The benefits of clean air and net zero is commendable, but tariffs and embargoes also result in further shifts in the labor market. So what's the takeaway? Toyota's chairman raises real concerns about job displacement, economic disruption, and resource limitations. But at the same time, global momentum towards EVs isn't slowing down. China's dominance, the rise of affordable EV options, and strong demand for cleaner vehicles mean that automakers worldwide will need to adapt. If Toyota wants to stay competitive while addressing these concerns, they'll need to keep evolving, perhaps focusing more on EV infrastructure, sustainable materials, and new job training initiatives. For now, it's clear the company's conservative approach will be tested by both market forces and consumer demand for cleaner, more efficient vehicles. As usual, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.